already went over. We're going to kind of speed you through this to give you a very detailed overview, though. Lance went through what the basic roles are within a club meeting. But let's go through them at a glance here. Your sergeant at arms, of course, gavels you into the meeting. You walk into your meeting, your sergeant at arms gavels you in. That sergeant at arms is also responsible for any sort of lectern that you have, any sort of materials that you may have in a book binder or in a case for your lectern. That person is responsible for that, as well as setting up your room. So that person should be early, that person should be available to stay late so that they can collect all of those items. Or that person should also be responsible for assigning that role to someone else who can fill in for them. Make sense?
Yeah.
Your club president is responsible to start and end the meeting. They will say whatever they want to say. Hi, my name is Brian Schleidenbach. Thank you for coming to the club meeting. No, for real, I'm Kever. They can say whatever they want. They may also ask who has spoken outside the club this week. Who's done something amazing? Are there any awards that are going to be given for this week? And they may make other announcements. The Toastmaster is going to act as your normal MC. And these are characteristics and traits and roles that you can use outside of Toastmasters. Imagine being hired to be an MC for an event. Imagine hosting a major gala for whatever company you're with, and you're looking for an MC. Well, you can be your own MC, and you can make it fun, and you can make it exciting. The timer will either have an app on their smartphone that you can download from anywhere. They have a million Toastmasters, green, red, yellow, timing things on your phone. Or some clubs use cards. So you could say, it's almost time to stop. It's time to stop. You can use different ideas. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to spend any money. If you want, you can win a timer from Toastmasters.org that you can use like we have at the contests. You can win one of those for your club. Or you can buy them. Table Topics Master. That person comes up with amazing questions for you. Just like how we went around the room, you said your name, you said your club, and you said what your goal was. That was basically a table topic. You didn't know I was going to ask you. You didn't know that you were going to have to stand in front of the group, but you did it, and it was amazing, and you had lots of confidence. So thank you, guys. The speakers. The speaker is very, very important. I know for our club at Imagination, we make sure that there is ample room for speakers. Some clubs don't have enough room for speakers because there may be a larger club. Even though we have 23, sometimes 30 people at a time, we make sure that we reach out to those speakers beforehand to say, where are you in your walk in your CC? Are you on number 1, number 2, so that we know, is it 7 minutes, is it 20 minutes? If you're an advanced speaker, you may have a speech that's 20 minutes to 45 minutes. So we accommodate that time frame. But as a speaker yourself, it is imperative that you study. Don't wing it. Don't just think that these speeches are minuscule. They can be whatever you want them to be in your life. You can write these speeches to promote your own company. You can write these speeches to be inspirational. You can write them to be whatever you need them to be in your world, in your life. This is not a class assignment that you're going to do and then forget about it in 10 years. That's not why we're here. These are actual life-changing, life-applicable opportunities to become a better speaker or just become a better person in whatever area that you are requesting. The General Evaluator. This is one of my favorites. They actually have a Toastmasters club called the Great Evaluators. It's over at L.A.C.E, and they really are great evaluators. As you progress within the curriculum, there will be someone in your club that may present something called How to Evaluate. Tell me what you think evaluating is. Donald, what is evaluating?
So one of the things that is most important in Toastmasters is getting feedback. And an evaluation is a way that somebody can give immediate feedback so you can take that away and improve in the future. And evaluation doesn't mean I've done something wrong, you've done something wrong in your speech. That means identify what people have done well in the presentation and where there's room for improvement. They maybe did something well, but it could be enhanced a little bit more. For example, gestures or something like that.
Nice, okay, okay. Nancy, tell me what do you need to do to be able to give good feedback? What's the key to that? What's the key to doing what Donald just said?
You have to listen very
Yes.
carefully and have a purpose.
Yes,
What
yes.
was
Very,
you're
very
looking
good.
for.
Yes. Most people miss the listening part. Most people open up someone's manual to evaluate them, and as they're speaking, they read the question. They are not listening to the speech. Understood? So imagine if you're speaking to me, Peter, and I'm reading, okay, was he good? Was he great? Okay, did he use gestures? Did he have good eye contact? I'm reading. I'm not even listening to you.
You're not even looking and see if I made
Right.
any gestures.
Exactly. So by the time I get up to speak, oh, Peter did a great job. Ooh, Peter, that was a great speech. That is unacceptable evaluation. It really is. Because you're not helping that person. You're not giving back to them. They gave of themselves to give you their speech. Your responsibility and your role was to effectively evaluate them. You have to listen. One of the trainings that we do at our club, we go back to the can and the rope, right? And so you say something and the person's supposed to hear you. So what we did, we would start with Peter and we would go all the way around to Donald. I would whisper something in your ear. By the time we got to the end, that grocery list was totally incorrect. So I went backwards by each person to say, what did you hear? What did you hear? Sure enough, the second person got it wrong because they didn't listen. So I know I spent a lot of time with the evaluation process, but it really is important because that's the value takeaway for you. If I tell you your speech was great, you're like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do with great? Versus you moved around a little too much and you were really nervous, you kind of hid behind the lectern, or you didn't look at anybody, or you paced, or you whatever. I have to give you a takeaway so that you can go home and practice and be better. If you're wanting to be inspirational, and I tell you, yeah, your vocal quality was kind of low, that's not going to help you become more inspirational. I've got to say, hey, Donald, man, I need you to tell some jokes or something. I need you to tell me about a story that's happened in your life. I need you to tell me about something that you've overcome. I need you to give me a reason to be inspired by what you're saying. The all counter and the grammarian. Brian has a form here. If you guys could help me pass these out so that you can understand what your all counter and grammarian has to do. Yes, sir.
I would like to add a little bit more on to the evaluation.
Okay, sure, absolutely.
One of the things that I have found is that those who are new to evaluation or uncomfortable in giving comments and feedback will do a review of the speech. This is a very good speech. I enjoyed it very much. And started out and told us about this, and I thought it was a good story, and I think I'm going to learn something from this story. They're evaluating the speech, not the delivery of the speech.
Makes sense.
And so I find that is not really good feedback that I can learn something from.
I agree with you.
The other thing we do in our club in evaluation is table topics evaluations. A lot of clubs do not do table topics evaluation. So we have one person do a table topics evaluation, and they are doing the entire speakers that did table topics presentation, but they're very brief, succinct evaluations.
Okay.
And there'll be just a quick comment and a positive and a negative feedback and across the board, and that everybody gets something immediately after that.
Nice. I like that idea. I like that idea. We have two new people in the room that I saw come in. Would you each like to stand up, say your name, the name of your club, please?
Okay, my name is Ina Granovich, and I just basically a new member. I went several times to Toastmasters groups, and I basically put myself below one of them which is this young lady is.
Nice.
It's a great group, and this is my colleague, my agent Ina as well.
Okay.
And we just basically joined this club.
Okay. Spell your name for me.
Ina, I-N-N-A,
Okay.
and last name is Agronovich, A-G-R-A-N-O-V-I-C-H,
Okay.
and Ina as well.
Okay.
Same name, yeah, Ina.
Nice.
Two Inas.
Make the job easier. Ina squared.
Fantastic.
Two Inas.
After the class is over, you can come up and grab some more of these handouts. The one that I passed out for the general evaluation, you can just look this over. And that just kind of goes over exactly what we talked about. And it has, and this is general evaluator sheet, is not for evaluating a speech, it's for evaluating the entire club meeting. So you would go through and say the sergeant at arms came on time and they set up and the room was clean, the president was great and the president gave a great overview. The Toastmaster was lengthy and they talked too much and we really need to hem this up. Or the speakers were fantastic, they had great roles but we didn't have enough where we had to make. Whatever your general evaluation of that club meeting would be, it would be on a form such as this one. Yes, Lisa?
Who do you turn this into? Who is the person?
For some clubs, it's the secretary. For other clubs, it's your VP of education, who would either keep it and give a copy to the secretary. It depends on your club's decisions, and you usually decide that during the executive meetings that Lance spoke about before, of who will actually keep those documents. Yes, Donald?
Our club does an oral presentation. The general evaluator at the end of the club does an
Yes.
oral presentation of the club started on time, everybody knew their roles,
Yes.
what areas could we improve on our future
Yes.
meetings.
And this would be oral. You would take your notes throughout the club meeting, but you would be on the agenda, as Donald said, to actually give
That's
this.
what happens in our
Yes.
club.
Fantastic. Awesome. So the other ones that we passed out, as you saw, were the grammarian and the as Brian calls it, the counter form. The grammarian form, different clubs do it differently. The grammarian form, you can have someone choose a word. That grammarian of that day can choose a word, give you the definition, and you can either write down the speaker's name and how many times they used it, or it could be throughout your club meeting, even as a person that stands up and says what they did for the week. As you open your meeting, the president says, is there anyone that spoke outside the club? And if that person says, I spoke outside the club and I used the word titanium, that person gets a point in our club. So it's throughout the entire club meeting, hoping that they learn different ways to use that piece of grammar and that they do it grammatically correct. Lady. That's good, right?
Yes.
I made you laugh.
Adverb.
Right. And what we do is we give them a little prize. Some people will give them a ribbon. Some people give gift cards. Brian loves giveaways. I don't know what it is about this generous heart of his. Since we work in television, he brings DVDs because they give away DVDs for each thing they promote or whatever. So Brian says, whoever says the word the most and properly, I'll give you a DVD, and you will be amazed how people fight to use this word. And they'll just raise their hand and just shout it out in a sentence, and I'm like, really? But it helps them be engaging in the meeting. It keeps it lively, it keeps it exciting, so it's awesome sauce. Then you have your counterform. Awesome sauce is a word. Yes.
Can I copy the
Yes. Sorry. Which one? There you are. For the counter form, there will be a person, it's a role within your agenda for your meeting, and they will count things like like, so, or whatever other thing they have. Whether it's one gentleman had a click of his tongue every time he spoke, and then he'd start talking. Or and then he'd start, whatever that other thing is for them. Once again, this is a listening tool. You have to watch and listen. If they're twitching, you're not watching. How are you going to know that they're twitching? You can't help them. One of our girls had a car accident, so she twitches a lot, but she wants us to help her, and she says, every time you see me twitching, please let me know. We're not being rude, we're not saying, hey, you're standing up there twitching all the time. She wants to overcome this. So you have to listen and you have to watch once again. And these are great tools in the outside world, whether it's with your family and they feel you don't communicate, whether it's on your job and they feel that you are an imbecile. There are wonderful things that you can learn simply by doing these small tasks within the club meeting. Did we hand out the green one for the table topics?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
On the grammarian
Yes.
role, and one of the clubs that I'm in actually has a bell. It's one of these that you see at a restaurant. The
Nice.
order is ready, the chef hits the bell, ding. So when someone's up there and there's a little ding, because you don't know you're using the likes and the
Okay.
ahs. Somebody can say, well, you used ah 6 times,
Gotcha.
but you didn't know you were doing it. And every time the bell, and it's almost like Pavlov's dog, you immediately know to stop.
Right. You would never hear my speech because the bell be going off all day long. You'd be like, ding, ding, ding. Cameron said,
But it's amazing.
like is my word.
You stop, you
Yes.
go,
Makes sense. I like that idea. For table topics, when we went around the room, as I said earlier, we,
Thank you.
each one of you, we all did a table topic. I asked you a question, you replied to the question. The question wasn't given to you beforehand. There are actual contests on table topics. I was fortunate enough to, I can't remember if it was, I believe it was area, that I won first place for table topics. I have never, in my entire life, had a desire to speak in front of people. I got my first job at 15 being a background singer in a studio, in a cherrywood room with a double door. I had no desire to be out in front of people. I listened to the person at the console, they told me what they wanted me to sing, they said stack it 5 times, and I'm like, absolutely, let's go. That was my life. Then all of a sudden, I come from a military family, I had to learn to speak because I wanted to start a nonprofit after my parents passed away. And I was like, I don't want to do that, I'll do paperwork. I don't really need to speak in front of anybody, I don't need to do anything. But I had to learn that everything in life is a table topic. Every conversation that you have with someone is a table topic. If I say, hey Donald, how are you?
I'm doing well today, but could be a little bit better.
That's engaging, not, I'm okay. Okay, I want you to, I'm interested in how you feel, Lisa. I'm interested in you. What did you do today? Where did you go today? What did you do exciting over the weekend? What are you going to do for the weekend? How was your birthday? Anything is a table topic. When you go to a networking event, is that not a table topic? You have a moment to sell yourself. You have a moment for that elevator pitch. That in itself is a table topic. You can go online, you can study what table topics are and look through this sheet here. Life is a table topic. Someone asks you a question, be engaging and be interesting at all times. It's really fun. And it breaks the ice for you and you get used to that. You get used to just being you. People want to be around you, people are excited because you're excited. And I'm just like, you're kidding me, I'm excited? I'm like, okay. So, no, it can really work. How to be Toastmaster of the day. Once again, this is a person that is going to be your MC. And learning to be that Toastmaster, learning to be that fantastic and fun and exciting person, look through this, look at all of the things that you can do. You don't need to do all of them. You can walk up to the lectern and you can crack a joke if you're nervous. You can walk up to the lectern and you can say whatever you want to break your own ice and be that welcoming and engaging Toastmaster. As the Toastmaster, remember to get introductions from your people early so that you say their name properly, so that you may need to understand. You're in law. Your intro may be words I've never heard of. And I'm going to be like, Beverly, can you help me pronounce all these words of things that you've done? Because I may not know. But as a great Toastmaster and MC, I should be able to introduce you with amazing grace. I should be able to do that for you because what I give to introduce you is the takeaway that people have. They're going to be writing down, ooh, Beverly, that's the next speaker. Man, Beverly gave me all this information. I want to contact Beverly. But if I said your name was Teresa, they'd be like, calling back to the VPE, well, Teresa spoke 2 weeks ago. I really want to get a copy of Teresa's speech. Once again, you have to listen. You have to listen, you have to give back, and you have to bring your best to the meeting. Leave your tired in the car. Leave your grumping in the car. Enjoy what you give and enjoy what people give back to you. There's also a timer's report, and I think we're kind of on time here. There's also a timer's report. And these, you don't have to make these exact for your club. Every club may have a different looking timer's report. They may have a different looking all-counter report. They may have a different looking grammarian report. And they may have a different looking general evaluator sheet. These are just to give you an overview. And if you are the VPE, you might want to include these or make something better in your club. Or maybe some clubs don't have them at all. I've been to some clubs to visit and they have a sheet of paper. And they're writing down how many ahs and ums you said. Okay, well that's not really effective if you don't know, you didn't properly put the person's name down. If you're going to give the report at the end of the meeting, did you really take accurate notes? Did line 1 really have 3 ums and who was line 1? Did they really have 6 likes but who, be organized. Be organized. And even if you take all of these things here, as I tell everybody, and you take these tools into your kitchen, imagine what type of kitchen you would have. Your refrigerator would be, and this is just me, I'm just, crazy like OCD, but your refrigerator would be organized. You now have vegetables, and you have water, and you have milk and other things, and you have things on your door. Based on this, imagine if you listened. You might remember a person's phone number, a friend's birthday. You might remember that a person's been sick. You might remember that a person needs something. You might remember something that could change someone else's life, just simply by listening and utilizing all of these skills. There are a few more benefits of Toastmasters. Some of them Lance went over earlier today. There are a few more here that you can just take a glance at your leisure. But the one takeaway that I want you all to have is that Toastmasters is fun. Toastmasters is excellent. Toastmasters is awesome. Toastmasters is amazing. And it's what, and this is not a plug that I'm doing just because Toastmasters is Toastmasters. This is because it changed my life. It can do whatever you want it to do, or it can do nothing. You can show up to every meeting just because you paid your money and sit there and treat it like a bridge club or a bingo game. And you're just like, you know what, that was nice, that was really, really great. That could be your takeaway from it. Or it could be that you actually participate, that you actually have an opportunity to speak, you have an opportunity for roles, you have an opportunity to fulfill and learn something that you want to take away. Donald, for your inspirational desire to give this inspirational speech, each of these tools that we have learned here can actually help you with that bit of information. Hi, Lance. How are you, Lance?
You guys are really lucky. She's one of the best.
Aw, thanks, Lance. Each one of these tools here can help you find your moment of inspiration. For instance, let's say that you were the all-counter for that day, and you realize that this person really has a problem saying like I told you my word is like I went to the store today, like I don't really know, like I totally forgot. I don't know where I got it from, some movie or something, I don't know, my parents didn't say but like is my thing. Like, I'm gonna go and do this. Your inspirational takeaway could be, when you evaluate my like, in your mind, you could be writing your speech. This person is excellent, this person is graceful, this person has a message, this person does a lot of different things. But I would suggest they do this, this, and this, because in my life, when I had to deal with a like, maybe I didn't like it. Maybe it wasn't like this. When I was a kid, My thing was because I was a stuttering person. And the way that I overcame being a person that stuttered was this. All of a sudden, the audience, as I move around the room, they're staring at me like, where's she going with this thing? I could give you a moment of inspiration by sharing with you how I overcame being a person that mumbled and was a stuttering child to the person who keeps saying light, because maybe that's a crutch for them in some way. Instantly, you have 7 minutes of inspiration from only being an outcome. You see what I'm saying? So everything that you do, there's some sort of takeaway. Yes, sir.
My husband actually gave a speech on verbal crutches in his Toastmasters club just recently because he struggles with it. So he gave a speech on how to get over verbal crutches,
Nice.
ahs and ums and ahs.
That's awesome. And it was inspirational, correct?
Yes.
To help other people
Right.
overcome what you're going through. So you let me know when you're giving your inspirational speech so Brian and I can be there. I'm excited. It's coming up soon, right? Because you know, Lance said put a date on everything. So it's this week, next month. What are we looking at here?
Maybe end of July.
Nice. That's awesome, Donald.
As
Fantastic.
soon as the 15th of July, just making sure.
So we have about 5 more minutes. I want anyone, if you have questions, if you have comments, also you need to fill out your evaluation form with your name, my name, I guess, since I'll have to spell my name for you once again. Do you have any?
Write it down.
And then I want you to ask questions pertinent to what you've heard today and or questions of how you feel that you have a takeaway here and how you can put that into practice within your clubs. Absolutely. Let's see.
So the location is room 222 or?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you need that form?
2 evaluation forms
And
and
it's Kevin,
your
K-E-A,
V-E-R.
B-E-R is my first name.
And the last name?
B as in boy, it's Brene, B-R-E, N as in Nancy, A-I, B-R-E-N-A-I. Brian Schweidenbach was scheduled to be your person. Yes, that's the class, and then I'll be teaching this next class for the BC. Sorry.
Did I say something?
Yes, absolutely.
I just want to put it out there that the group that I have joined, the Toastmasters, is not just with me, but with other new members, is very encouraging and supportive from the very first moment you walk in, and they have you speak and introduce yourself, and I believe they make, or attempt to make everybody really comfortable. And every meeting I've been to, I went to a few, we laugh. So that was one of the things I really enjoyed, is there's a lot of laughter that goes on there.
Fantastic.
And I don't know if you know Matt Sherwood.
I don't.
He's an incredible president.
Nice.
So, but it's a great group. Anyone who's taken over the new positions, they're all great as well. One of the things is the laughter that pulled me in and made me want to stay with this group.
Okay. That's good news. Good news.
Just to tell us again where it is.
It's an incredible group. It's at the Sherman Oaks Galleria on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock.
Sherman Oaks Gallery.
Oh, go ahead, Beverly, go ahead. Go ahead and pitch your club.
Well, no, that's, we're in the
Beverly's
same club. So I'm just saying that's a help.
And where do you belong? Which club you belong?
If you do go,
Where do you
they give you.
Imagination at NBC Universal is my home club. I'm president of that club.
Which one?
Imagination at NBC Universal Toastmasters.
So where in the Sherman Oaks Gallery?
It's on the Universal lot.
I see, okay.
So where in the Sherman Oaks Gallery do you meet?
Lisa?
Lisa?
Sorry, yes.
Where in the Sherman Oaks Gallery do
It's
you
in
meet?
the
Community
Yes.
room.
community room. And by the way, when you get your parking ticket, they give you a free little ticket, so parking will be free. Even as a guest member, it's free to park there.
When do you meet?
Every Thursday night at 7 p.m.
Thursdays?
Thursday.
Every Thursday?
Every Thursday, and it's online too. If you go to Toastmasters, you can even call or email the phone number for the president. You know, you can
What's it
contact.
called?
It's called Toastmastering.
Sales master.
Sales Mastery.
Sales.
SALESMASTERY.
Are there any other questions? Any other concerns? Any other club meeting ideas that you have? Yes, Beverly?
I just have a question.
Yes.
I was in the evaluation, you said, and this really resonated with me, Toastmasters has changed my life. So I just wanted to see if you had any examples or could kind of,
Of course.
yes, elaborate on it.
Of course, of course. Growing up being a background singer in a studio, I suppose may have caused me to be an introvert, maybe, possibly. I had no desire to really interact or one-on-one have conversations or speak in front of a group. I have performed at the Hollywood Bowl, I've performed at the Greek, but everyone was far away, so I didn't have to worry about any sort of personal interaction. I'm back here, everybody's smiling and excited, and that's great for me. Then after starting my own company, the nonprofit, it is music-based, but it's veteran-focused because I come from a military family, and we have panel discussions. So someone had to moderate, and someone had to open up the discussions. So I was at Universal at an employee meeting, and one of the gentlemen said, I heard that you were a friend of so-and-so and so-and-so's with the Veterans Network. You should come to our Toastmasters meeting. I was like, nah, I'm good. And he was like, no, really, you should come to the Toastmasters meeting. I'm like, whatever, I'll come and support your little meeting or whatever you do, right? So I show up to this meeting, and they do table topics. And I'm like, oh, man. Hi, my name is Kever, and like, I did this, and I did that, and everything was groovy, okay? But as I listened during that meeting, I realized, wow, maybe I could speak at one of my events, right? So he says, I have a challenge for you. He says, if you join Toastmasters, you can do speeches 1 through 10 in 10 weeks. He says, didn't you tell me that your event at House of Blues is coming up for Veterans Day? I said, yes. He says, you have 9 weeks. And on the 10th week, you can do your 10th speech. I said, you've got to be kidding me. And he said, I challenge you to do it. Well, me being from a military family, I accepted the challenge. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It was amazing going, as you know, you're in speech 2, right? It was the motivation of it, about to do 3. The motivation of that. Every single week I did a speech. Every single night I spent 15, 20 minutes of research. Every single moment of my day, I was figuring out how to be a better person and give someone a word. Every single day for those 10 weeks. By the time I sat down in front of those veterans, I had pulled out from my history things that my parents had said to me that blessed someone in that audience. I was able to pull from my pain and help someone else. There were tears that day, there were breakthroughs made, there were unions made. It was amazing what happened, and that in itself of helping someone else changed my life. That's how Toastmasters helped me. You're welcome. Anyone else? We have 1 minute. All right, finish up your evaluations, please. And you can bring them up here and turn them in.
Good job, thank you.
Thank you, Tom.